She came for an interview, never expecting the CEO was her one-night fling. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to the main character. The morning air is cool and clean, the kind that makes the city feel honest for a few seconds before the noise takes over. She stands across the street from a glass tower that seems to touch the clouds, smoothing the edges of a navy blazer she borrowed from a friend. Her resume is tucked neatly inside a manila folder, corners pressed flat, like she is trying to iron out the last few months of her life with her hands. She tells herself to breathe. Inside the lobby, polished stone floors reflect soft light from overhead fixtures. Everything smells faintly of coffee and expensive cologne. She checks the directory, finds the company name, and follows the signs toward the elevators. This interview is not just another meeting. It is rent money. It is groceries. It is proof that one bad decision does not get to define an entire future. The elevator doors slide open with a gentle chime. She steps in, presses the button for the top floor, and watches the numbers climb. Her heart matches the rhythm. 10, 11, 12. When the doors open again, time does something strange. He is standing there, a few feet away, talking quietly to a woman with a tablet. His hair is neatly styled, his suit dark and perfectly fitted, his posture calm in a way that suggests control. He turns at the sound of the elevator, and their eyes meet. The air shifts. She knows that face. She knows it too well. The memory hits without warning, like a song you did not know you remembered. A dimly lit bar, laughter over cheap drinks, a night that was never supposed to follow her into daylight, a night that ended with a promise to forget names and move on. Her fingers tighten around the folder. He recognizes her too. She sees it in the brief hesitation, the almost invisible pause before he straightens his shoulders. For half a second, the man in front of her is not a chief executive in a glass tower. He is the man who once whispered that some moments were better left unexamined. The woman with the tablet clears her throat. He nods to her, professional, composed, then turns back to the hallway. "This way," he says, his voice steady, as if nothing is wrong. She follows because she has no other choice. As they walk, she notices details she missed before. The confidence in his stride, the way employees greet him with respect, the way doors open before he reaches them. Understanding dawns slowly, painfully, like light creeping under a closed door. He was never just passing through her life. They enter a conference room wrapped in glass and skyline. A long table stretches across the space, chairs perfectly aligned. She takes a seat near the end, placing her folder in front of her like a shield. He sits at the head of the table. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Then he begins, asking about her experience, her skills, her goals. She answers carefully, choosing honesty over desperation. She refuses to let the past crawl into her voice. This is her interview. This is her chance. Still, beneath every word, there is an unspoken question hanging in the air. What happens when a mistake from the night before becomes the man deciding your future? And as the city hums outside the glass, she realizes that walking into this interview was not just a step toward a job. It was a collision with fate she never saw coming. The room feels colder now, even though the temperature has not changed. She answers the last question and folds her hands together, resting them on top of the folder. Her palms are damp, but her voice stays steady. She talks about problem solving, about learning quickly, about staying late when it matters. Not once does she mention the night they both remember. Not once does she look away. Across the table, he listens without interrupting. His expression is unreadable, professional to the point of being distant. If someone walked in right now, they would see nothing unusual, just a candidate and a chief executive officer doing what they do every day. "Thank you," he finally says. "That will be all for now." The words land heavier than she expects. She stands, nods politely, and turns toward the door. Her legs feel stiff, like they belong to someone else. Just before she reaches the handle, his voice stops her. "Wait." She freezes. He does not say her name. He does not need to. "There is one more thing," he adds carefully. Human resources will follow up later today. Later today. Not now. Not here. Not between the two of them. She nods again, opens the door, and walks out without looking back. The hallway seems longer on the way out. Her heels echo against the floor, too loud, too sharp. When the elevator doors finally close, she exhales for the first time in minutes. Her reflection stares back at her from the mirrored wall, eyes wide, jaw tight. She presses the button for the lobby and lets her head rest briefly against the cool metal. This was supposed to be a fresh start. Outside, the city has picked up speed. Cars rush past. People move with purpose. No one knows what just happened on the top floor of that building, and somehow that makes it worse. She walks 2 blocks before stopping at a small cafe on the corner, the kind with chipped mugs and handwritten menus. She orders black coffee because it is cheaper, and because she needs something strong. As she sits by the window, her phone vibrates. A message from an unknown number appears on the screen. Human Resources. Please confirm your availability to begin a 2-week trial period starting Monday. She reads it twice, then a third time. A trial period, not a favor, not a shortcut, a chance. Her shoulders drop slightly, relief mixing with confusion. She types back a simple yes before she can overthink it. Monday comes faster than she expects. Her first day begins early, the sky still pale as she steps into the building again. This time, she belongs here, at least on paper. She is shown to a small desk, introduced to a team that smiles politely but does not linger. Work fills the hours quickly. Emails, reports, deadlines that do not care about personal history. She does her job well, better than well. Late in the afternoon, as the office quiets, she notices him standing near the glass wall of her department. He does not come closer. He does not speak. He simply nods once, a silent acknowledgement of effort. That night, she stays late to finish a task no one asked her to rush. When she finally shuts down her computer, the office is nearly empty. As she reaches the elevators, she sees him again. This time, there is no audience. "I want to be clear," he says, his tone calm but deliberate. "What happened before has no place here. You earned this on your own." She meets his gaze, searching for anything that sounds like pity or regret. She finds neither. "Good," she replies, "because I plan to keep earning it." For the first time since that morning, something like respect passes between them. As the elevator doors close, she realizes this story is no longer about a mistake from one night. It is about what happens next. The days begin to blur into a rhythm she did not expect. Mornings start with crowded elevators and paper cups of coffee. Afternoons disappear into spreadsheets, meetings, and quiet concentration. She learns the systems quickly, asks questions without apologizing, and takes notes like this job is not temporary, because to her, it cannot be. She feels eyes on her sometimes, not his, others. A few coworkers are polite but distant. A few are warmer, curious about the new hire who appeared so suddenly on the top floor. No one says anything outright, but she recognizes the looks. She has seen them before, in other places, other jobs. The silent math people do when they try to figure out how someone like her ended up somewhere like this. She keeps her head down and lets her work speak. One afternoon, she overhears 2 voices in the break room just as she reaches for the door. "She is here on a trial," someone says, "straight from the chief executive officer's office." Another voice responds, lower, sharper. "People do not get trial periods like that without help." She does not go in. She turns away, heart pounding, and walks back to her desk. For a moment, the old fear rises. The one that says she will always be an outsider. The one that says one mistake will follow her forever. That night, she stays later than usual. The office is quiet, lights dimmed, the city outside glowing in soft squares of yellow and white. She finishes her report, double-checks every number, then checks again. When she finally shuts down her computer, she notices a figure reflected in the glass wall. He is standing there, coat draped over one arm. "You do not have to prove anything by staying late," he says evenly. She turns to face him. "I know." There is a pause. Not awkward, measured. "The trial period ends Friday," he adds. "The decision will be based on performance alone." She nods. "That is all I want." For a moment it feels like they might say more, about the night, about the tension neither of them names. But instead, he steps back, giving her space. "Good night," he says. "Good night," she replies. On Friday morning, she wears the same blazer, pressed again and again until it feels like armor. She works through lunch without noticing the time. When the email finally arrives, her heart drops before she even opens it. Please come to the conference room at 3. At 3 sharp, she sits at the long table again. This time there are others present, human resources, a department head. No private conversation, no shortcuts. He enters last. The meeting is brief, clear, professional. She has exceeded expectations, the department head says. I recommend a full-time offer. Human Resources slides a folder across the table. Her chest tightens as she opens it. Salary, benefits, her name typed cleanly at the top. This is a permanent position, he says, looking directly at her, if you choose to accept. She signs before fear can talk her out of it. Later that evening, as she packs up her desk, her phone buzzes again. A message from an unknown number. There is a company gala tomorrow night. Attendance is optional, but you are welcome. She stares at the screen. A gala means lights, eyes, whispers. A room where power shows itself openly. She hesitates, then types back. Thank you. I will be there. She does not know it yet, but tomorrow night will change everything. The next evening, the city looks different from the back seat of the rideshare. Lights spill across the streets like something deliberate, something planned. She watches them pass while smoothing the fabric of a simple black dress she almost did not wear. It is not new, it is not designer, but it fits, and it feels honest. She chose it for that reason alone. The building hosting the gala rises ahead, all glass and clean lines. Valets move with practiced ease. Guests step onto the carpet laughing softly, their voices light, confident. She hesitates for half a breath before getting out of the car. This is not her world, not yet. Inside, the room opens wide. Music hums low and steady. Crystal glasses catch the light. Conversations overlap in careful tones. She recognizes a few faces from the office, all dressed differently now, more polished, more certain of their place. She keeps her shoulders straight and walks in. At first, she blends into the background. She accepts a drink she does not finish. She listens more than she speaks. A department head greets her with polite surprise, commenting on how quickly she has adjusted. She thanks him and moves on. Then she feels it. The shift in the room. The subtle change in attention. Conversations pause, then restart at a lower volume. She turns and sees him enter. He does not rush. He never does. His presence alone seems to pull the space tighter, more focused. People smile as he passes. Some nod with respect. Others wait, hoping to be noticed. She watches from a distance, reminding herself that tonight is not about him. It is about showing up, about belonging without explanation. Their eyes meet across the room. It is brief, controlled, but something unspoken passes between them, heavier than the music, sharper than memory. He inclines his head slightly, an acknowledgement meant only for her. She returns it and looks away. She moves toward the balcony doors, needing air. Outside, the night is cooler, quieter. The city stretches out below, endless and indifferent. She rests her hands on the railing and exhales slowly, letting the tension drain just enough to breathe. I was hoping you would come, his voice says behind her. She does not turn right away. You said attendance was optional. It was, he replies. Still is. She turns then, meeting his gaze under the soft lights. There is no pretense here, no audience. Just two people standing in the space between what was and what is. I did not want to hide, she says simply. A flicker of approval crosses his face. You are not. They stand in silence for a moment, the kind that feels earned. Inside, applause breaks out suddenly. He glances back toward the room. They are about to make an announcement. She nods, already sensing what is coming. The weight in her chest tightens, though she cannot yet name why. They return inside together, stopping just short of standing side by side. She remains a step behind, instinctively aware of how closely people are watching now. A host takes the microphone, smiling broadly. He speaks about growth, vision, leadership, words that float easily in rooms like this. And now, the host continues, please join me in recognizing the man behind it all. The spotlight shifts. Her breath catches as his name is spoken, full and unmistakable. Chief Executive Officer, founder, visionary. The room erupts in applause. She feels the sound before she processes the meaning. The realization lands slowly, painfully clear. This is not just a powerful man. This is the center of the world she has just entered. As he steps forward to speak, she understands something else too. Everyone is watching him, and soon they will be watching her. The applause fades, but the energy in the room does not. He speaks with ease, thanking partners, employees, investors. His voice carries confidence shaped by years of being listened to. She stands near the back now, unnoticed again, and lets herself observe him the way she did not before. Not as a memory, not as a mistake, but as the man everyone here believes in. When his speech ends, the crowd shifts toward him like a tide. Hands reach out, laughter rises. She turns away, knowing this is her cue to disappear quietly. She almost makes it to the edge of the room when a voice stops her. "Excuse me." She turns to see a woman in a tailored gown, eyes sharp with curiosity. "You work here, do you not?" "Yes," she answers. "I started recently." The woman smiles thinly. "Recently," she repeats, as if testing the word. "You must be very impressive." The compliment does not reach her eyes. Before she can respond, another voice joins in. "We were just wondering," a man adds lightly, "how you managed to get noticed so quickly." The question is wrapped in politeness, but the implication is clear. She feels the room closing in, every sound slightly louder now. This is the moment she feared, the moment where her work is not enough to explain her presence. "I did the job," she says evenly. "That is all." A soft laugh answers her. "Of course," the woman replies. "Still, it must be nice to have connections." The word lands like a small cut. Before she can decide whether to walk away or stand her ground, the crowd parts. He is there. "I believe you were looking for me," he says calmly. All eyes turn. The woman brightens instantly. "We were just admiring your team," she says, "especially your newest hire." His gaze flicks to her, just for a second. Not to claim, not to protect, to ask. She meets it and gives a single, almost invisible nod. "She earned her position," he says clearly. "Every evaluation, every metric. There was no special treatment." The room goes quiet. "If anyone has concerns about that," he continues, "they are welcome to bring them to human resources, or to me. No anger, no drama, just truth, spoken where it matters." The woman murmurs something about a misunderstanding and moves away. Others follow, suddenly busy elsewhere. The tension dissolves, but the moment does not. She lets out a breath she did not realize she was holding. Later, as the night winds down and the guests thin, she finds herself back on the balcony. The city looks the same, but she does not feel as small now. He joins her without a word. "Thank you," she says finally. "For what?" he asks. "For letting me choose," she replies. "For not speaking over me." He nods slowly. "I never wanted to." They stand side by side, not touching, not distant either. "I am not here because of what happened before," she adds. "I need you to know that." "I do," he says. "And for what it is worth, I would like the chance to know you without confusion, without power in the way." She considers his words, the sincerity behind them. "Then start by meeting me as an equal," she says. A faint smile appears. "I would like that." Inside, the lights dim as the gala comes to an end. She turns back toward the room, toward the future she chose for herself. This time, she does not feel like she is walking into someone else's world. She feels like she belongs. The week after the gala feels different, even though nothing on the surface has changed. She still arrives early. She still leaves when the work is done. Her desk is in the same place, her tasks just as demanding. But now, conversations pause when she walks by, then resume with forced casualness. The looks have shifted, less curious, more cautious. Word travels fast in buildings like this. She keeps her focus where it belongs: numbers, deadlines, results. She reminds herself daily that respect earned quietly lasts longer than attention earned loudly. Late one afternoon, her calendar pings with a meeting request. No subject line, no explanation, just his name and a time. She hesitates only a moment before accepting. His office is exactly what she expects. Clean lines, open space, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. It feels less like a throne room and more like a place designed for clarity. "Thank you for coming," he says as she steps inside. She takes a seat across from him, posture straight. "You asked to see me." "I did," he replies, "because I want to address something before it becomes a problem." She waits. "There are assumptions being made," he continues evenly, "about you, about us. I want you to know that I will not allow those assumptions to affect your work or your future here." Her jaw tightens slightly. "I am not asking for protection." "I know," he says. "That is why I am saying this now." Silence settles between them, not uncomfortable but heavy with meaning. "I will also keep my distance," he adds, "at least here. If you ever feel that my presence puts you in an unfair position, you should tell me." She studies him, searching for control disguised as concern. She finds none. "That matters," she says finally. "Thank you." As she stands to leave, he speaks again. "Outside of work," he says carefully, "I meant what I said, about wanting to know you as an equal." She does not answer right away. "Then start by trusting that I will say no if I need to," she says. A faint smile crosses his face. "Fair enough." They leave it there. Days pass. The tension does not disappear, but it softens. She becomes indispensable in small ways first, catching errors, offering solutions, taking responsibility without being asked. People begin to rely on her. One evening, as the office empties, she notices the lights still on in a conference room. He is there, sleeves rolled up, staring at a screen filled with projections and red numbers. "You are still here," she says from the doorway. "So are you," he replies. She hesitates, then steps inside. "I noticed something in the quarterly report," she says, pointing to a line item. "It might explain the variance." He looks where she indicates. His expression shifts, interest sharpening. "That would change everything," he says quietly. They work side by side for the next hour. No titles, no history, just two people solving a problem. When the solution clicks into place, relief passes between them like a shared breath. "You were right," he says. "Again." She smiles, just a little. "That is why you hired me." When they finally leave the building, the street is nearly empty. Night air cools the edges of a long day. "I am glad you stayed," he says. "So am I," she replies. They part ways there, no promises made, no lines crossed. But as she walks home, she realizes something has shifted again. Not because of power, because of trust. And that, she knows, is far more dangerous. The shift comes quietly at first. An email circulates late one evening, forwarded too many times to hide its origin. Someone hints at favoritism. Someone questions boundaries. No names are mentioned, but everyone knows who the whispers point to. She feels it the next morning. Conversations stop when she approaches. Invitations to meetings arrive later than usual. A decision she helped build is suddenly attributed to someone else. It is subtle, careful, designed to look accidental. By noon, she understands. This is the cost of being visible. She closes her laptop and stares at the screen, jaw tight. She promised herself she would never beg for a seat at a table again, never explain her worth to people who already decided the story they prefer. That afternoon, she is called into a conference room. Human resources sits on one side, legal on the other. The tone is polite, neutral, cold. "We have received concerns," one of them says, "about perceived conflicts of interest." She does not pretend not to understand. "Concerns based on what?" "Appearances," the other replies. "Timing, access." She nods slowly. "I did not ask for access. I did not receive favors. My work stands on its own." No one disagrees. That is the problem. "We are not questioning your performance," they say, "but perception matters." When she leaves the room, her hands are shaking. She finds him an hour later in his office, standing by the window, phone still in his hand. He looks tired in a way she has not seen before. "This is because of me," she says, not accusing, stating fact. He turns. "It should not be." But it is, she replies, and pretending otherwise will only make it worse. Silence stretches between them. They are right about one thing, she continues. I cannot build a future here if every success comes with a question mark. He steps closer, frustration breaking through his calm. Then let me fix it. She shakes her head immediately. No, that is exactly what I will not allow. The words land hard. If you intervene, she says, voice steady but low, you prove them right. You take away the only thing that belongs to me here. He stops. What are you saying? He asks. I am saying I need distance, she answers. Not because I do not care, but because I do. His expression tightens. You are asking me to step back when things get hard. I am asking you to respect me enough to let me stand alone, she says, even if that means losing me. The truth hangs between them, sharp and unavoidable. If this costs you your job, he says quietly, I will never forgive myself. If you save it, she replies, I will never forgive you. For a long moment, neither of them moves. Then she reaches into her bag and places her badge on the desk, not sliding it toward him, just setting it down. I am not quitting, she says. Not yet. But I will not stay where I am only tolerated. She turns and walks out before he can stop her. That night, she packs her things slowly, deliberately, not running, not hiding. She leaves the apartment with her head high, even as something inside her breaks. Across the city, he stands alone in his office, the badge still on his desk. For the first time, power offers him no solution at all. The morning she does not show up, the office notices. Her desk is empty, her chair pushed in, the small plant she brought from home is gone. By noon, speculation fills the space she left behind. Some assume she quit, others assume she was asked to leave. No one knows the truth, and no one asks him directly. He cancels his afternoon meetings. In his office, the city looks the same as always, but something fundamental has shifted. For the first time, he understands that silence can be a form of violence. That neutrality, when power is involved, is not neutral at all. He calls an emergency executive session that evening. The room fills with familiar faces, board members, legal counsel, human resources. The tone is tense before he says a word. There have been allegations, he begins, standing rather than sitting, not of misconduct, of perception. A few heads nod cautiously. I want to be very clear, he continues. If perception can dismantle merit, then we have built the wrong culture. Someone interrupts carefully. This is about protecting the company. So is this, he replies evenly. He lays out the facts, performance reviews, independent evaluations, timelines that do not overlap the rumors. He does not mention feelings. He does not mention her. He speaks only of fairness and accountability. Effective immediately, he says, we are implementing transparent review panels for all promotions and trial conversions. No exceptions, including for me. The room goes still. And one more thing, he adds. Any attempt to undermine an employee through implication rather than evidence will be treated as a policy violation. There are no arguments, only looks of surprise. Across town, she sits in a small library, laptop open, resume updated. She has not slept much. Every so often, she checks her phone, then tells herself to stop. She chose this. She meant it. Her phone vibrates anyway. It is an email from the company. Subject, request for meeting. She does not open it right away. The next morning, she returns to the building she thought she left behind. This time, she walks in slowly, deliberately. Not as an applicant, not as someone hoping to be allowed back. She is escorted to a conference room, the same one where questions once made her hands shake. He is already there, standing, waiting. I did not ask them to bring you back, he says before she can speak. I asked them to fix what was broken. She studies him. And if I choose not to return, then I will respect that, he answers. But I needed you to know that you were never the problem. He slides a folder across the table. Inside is a revised contract. Same role, same pay. One addition highlighted in clean text. Independent Oversight Committee. You would report directly to them, he explains, not to me. She reads every word. This does not erase what happened, she says quietly. No, he agrees, but it changes what happens next. She closes the folder, meeting his gaze. "I will come back," she says, "not because you asked, but because you listened." Relief crosses his face, quickly replaced by resolve. As she leaves the room, contract in hand, she realizes something important. This time, she is not returning to prove her worth. She is returning to claim it. The months that follow do not feel dramatic. They feel earned. Work settles into a steady rhythm again, stronger than before. Meetings are quieter, cleaner. Decisions leave paper trails that anyone can follow. The whispers fade when they no longer find space to grow. She leads projects now, not because she was given visibility, but because people trust her judgment. She does not stay late to prove anything anymore. She leaves when the work is done. Some evenings, she walks home instead of calling a ride, letting the city slow her thoughts. He keeps his distance at the office, exactly as promised. Professional, respectful, unremarkable to anyone watching closely. And that is the point. Outside of work, things unfold differently. They meet for coffee on a Saturday morning, in a place with mismatched chairs and a chalkboard menu. No assistants, no reservations. Just two people learning each other without shadows between them. They talk about childhood routines, about mistakes that taught more than success ever did. They laugh easily, surprised by how light it feels when nothing needs to be hidden. Time does what time does best. It tests consistency. He shows up when he says he will. She says no when she needs to. Neither of them rushes. Power does not enter the room. Respect does. One evening, months later, they stand in a quiet gallery space after hours. Her team's work lines the walls, thoughtful and precise. He walks beside her, listening more than speaking. "You built this," he says. "We did," she corrects gently. He smiles at that. There is no grand announcement, no spectacle, just a choice made twice by two people who know the cost of getting it wrong. On a warm night not long after, they return to the place where everything first unraveled. The city below glows the same way it always has, indifferent and vast. She leans against the railing, comfortable now in silence. "That interview," she says softly, "I thought it would save me." He looks at her. "Did it?" "It challenged me," she replies. "That mattered more." He reaches into his pocket, hesitates, then stops himself. There is no rush, no need for symbols yet. "I once believed leadership meant control," he says. "Now I know it means stepping back when it matters most." She turns toward him fully. "And love?" He answers without hesitation. "Love means choosing honesty even when it costs you." She considers him for a long moment, then nods. They do not kiss under the lights. They do not promise forever. They simply walk forward together, unafraid of being seen, because the truth is this: she did come for an interview. She did not expect the man behind the desk to be the one from a single night she thought she had left behind. But the real story was never about that mistake. It was about what they chose to build afterward. And this time, it was real.